that natural ability to hunt and turn it into hunting for that human odor. So what Deputy Freeman is going to do is he's going to demonstrate the dog's ability to find that human odor. Now, that gun, the human odor on, is going to come out like a cone, like a triangle. It starts off small, right near the odor. As you're about to find out, the odor starts out small and goes off into a triangle. I'm glad I'm not catching dogs today. Once K-9 Tyson is ready, again, we're going to demonstrate now. Again, there's a small part of the odor is at the article. It fans out into a triangle. So what you're actually going to see when he releases the dog to find this article is you're going to watch the dog kind of weave back and forth, back and forth. What's happening is he's getting into the scent cone, and then he's getting out of the scent cone. He's getting in and out of it, and he'll follow it until he reaches the odor of what he's looking for.
Dog had to take a poop.
This is part of the fun of being a canine handler.
It's okay, you let me loose. They don't do that on the job, but well, kind of missed it. No, we're cheating.
Now, if you watch that head snap that he just did, he was out of the scent cone. So that's why he turns around like that.
Oh, he knows he's close. There you go. He's just there.
And then he downs as a final alert.
Like, okay, give it to me.
And then he gets his toy. Now, we do a lot of positive reward with these canines. We've found out over the years, back when I first got into being a canine handler, it was about 13 years ago. And back then, we did a lot of negative rewarding or negative punishment with these dogs to try to get them what we do. Well, what we've learned and learning over the years is they respond much better to the positive reward. Obviously, it seems kind of obvious now, but when you go through it clicks on you. These dogs get toys when they do well. That's part of their reward system. When they're doing what we call the man work or the apprehension work, their reward is the bite. The bite on the sleeve, the bite on the suit, that's their reward. It's all fun for them. It's fun. Once they go through that 480 hours of initial training, we have to certify through the state of Florida. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement has a certification set up that we do. We have to complete it every year to stay an updated K-9 team. And even after that, we train every Wednesday night just to keep these dogs on task. All right, now, part of the training is, again, the apprehension side of it. Now, what happens if we send our dog after somebody and the bad guy gives up? We certainly do not want our dog to apprehend or bite an individual who becomes passive and is giving up. So part of the certification process is what we call a recall. We have to be able to demonstrate that if we send a dog after somebody, that we can call that dog back without the bite. So what we're going to first demonstrate is what happens when the bad guy actually gives up.
Somewhere over there.
Wherever it's softer to land.
Diane, you watching?
Oh, come on, move.
Go, here! Hey, get lucky.
Come on, you have one to fight.
Now, if the bad bad guy doesn't give up.
Hit him hard. Oh, yes. That never happens.
When they miss like that, it just makes them more angry.
That never happens. He's like, yeah, good luck getting me off. I'm taking him with me. Good dog. Get it.
So it makes them more angry when they miss the first time.
Put it in slow motion.
That's Deputy Cook and K-9 Brutus. And let's give a hand to our pin cushion for today. Awesome job. Alright, now, this next exercise is also going to go under the guise of the apprehension or man work. Now, this is going to look fun. It's fun for us to watch, not so much fun for the decoy. But it's going to look fun, and then you're going to probably sit there and think, well, why is this happening? After they're done doing it, I'll explain it to you. But basically, you're going to now see what happens if you have two handlers, one bad guy, and he doesn't feel like giving up. Now, the reasoning behind this, you're not going to see much of a situation where we would have to release two dogs on one individual. However, what this does for us and what this tells us is that these dogs can work together. They will not concentrate on each other. They will have a common goal and they will work towards that goal. So we know if there ever were a situation where these two dogs had to work with each other out in the field and in close proximity, that they're focused more on what they need to do than on each other. So that's why we run that exercise. A little bit about the patrol dog aspect of it, and then we'll move into our next exercises. As I kind of alluded before, the man work, the hunting work, the finding work, the biting work, that's all fun for the dog. It's fun for us, it keeps the dogs trained, it keeps them understanding what's going on, but the practical side of it for us, again, in law enforcement is it keeps us out of danger. If we can send the dog to do something instead of us to do it and keep us safer, we'll do it all day long. And that doesn't just go for the handler, it goes for every officer that's out there. For instance, building searches. I touched on a little bit with building searches. If you have a bad guy, say, going into a store the size of Dylan's, and he's hiding in there. We don't know if he's got a gun, not got a gun, but he broke in there. You could, again, take about 6, 7, 8 officers, search Dillard's for about an hour, still not be completely sure there's nobody in there, but have a good idea that it's a clear building. Or you could take us, one of our K-9 partners, and another officer or two, and do that same size building in probably about 20 to 30 minutes. Because that's how well these dogs are with their smelling and their odor of finding the human odor. Same thing when it comes to tracking. If you have a bad guy that runs off into the woods, or for instance you have a small child that's lost. We don't just track for bad people, we don't just track for people that have done anything wrong. If you have somebody that runs off or is lost, well, as you're walking, your skin cells are falling. They're falling to the ground. You're crushing the grass. What we're doing is we're teaching that dog to switch over again to the human odor, so they will follow that. Now the other thing we do with these dogs, and when we teach them odor areas and work of odor, is all our dogs are narcotics certified. They're all trained to find drugs. They go through another 160 hours worth of drug training. They're trained to find 5 different odors: marijuana, methamphetamine, ecstasy, heroin, and cocaine. Those 5 odors we train them to find. That's 160 hours above the 480 hours that they do just to be a K-9 team. Once they make it through the drug certification, they become a dual-purpose K-9 team. Now, how a dog will smell is they separate, or a lot of people ask when it comes to drug work, well, what about people that try to hide the odor? They try to mask it. They use baby oil, peanut butter, whatever. Well, what you don't realize is the way a dog smells is different than us. the dog actually separates the odors in its nose. So say you walk into a house and somebody's cooking a pizza. Well, when you walk in and go, huh, somebody's cooking a pizza. When a dog walks in, what he does is he goes, I smell tomatoes cooking, I smell cheese cooking, I smell bread, yeast. He separates all those odors. So if you're trying to mask the odor of the drug that we're looking for, he's separating them until he finds the one odor that gives the positive alert. Now, somewhere on this vehicle, there are drugs. What we're going to do is we're going to see if he can tell us where the drugs are located.
Good boy!
Again, he finds it, he gets his point, he gets his reward.
Actually, I could just cut it.
K-9 Brutus and Deputy Cook again.
Was it his toy that he found?
Mm-hmm.
All
That's
right,
a reward.
enough about the scent work, the odor work. It's hot out. We're going to leave you with another lasting impression here. We're going to go back to the van work again. We're going to go back to the fun stuff. What you're going to see now, I'm going to set up the scenario for you, is say you have a traffic stop with an individual that was wanted, that we need to apprehend, who decides he does not wish to get out of his vehicle. Well, again, instead of sending one of us up there to possibly harm and all that stuff, we can use our K-9 team to apprehend this particular suspect. While they're setting that up real quick, do I have any real quick questions? Yes. Question was, do the officers train their own dogs? Yes, we do. We have an all in-house training. We have lead trainers, but every handler is responsible for getting his dog trained. Any others? We're going to be around after this for more questions, but.
We're not going to be able to video and record this all.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
Don't let Dave fool you. He loves being the pin pusher. When we're done, we have a suit just like that one sitting over by the tables. If you really want to see how heavy it is, how hot it can be, you're more than welcome to come over and try it on. Now, we won't send a dog after you, but you can at least get an idea of how it feels.
Nice hit. Nice hit.
That was awesome.
Pull his butt out. Come on.
I'm pressing video recorder. It's not recording. How do I not have storage?
Trooper Rivera and K-9 Pete. Again, we have many agencies down here. We have the Sheriff's Office, we have West Melbourne, we have FHP, we have, of course, Melbourne PD. So you're more than welcome to come out, come over, ask us anything you want, any questions. You can go back in and get cool now. It's hot out here, but I very much appreciate you coming out to watch this little demo of ours. And next month or next year we'll be doing the same thing again. So thank you very much.